Welcome back to Saints Row the Third. Last time we were almost killed at a party. Or at least Pierce was. Even if he died, I'm sure the rest of us would have been fine. Anyway though, Kiki de Winter fucking died. She called Killbane Eddie, and just in general, was not going to put up with his shit. So, he did just very quickly murder her. I'm sure Viola will have absolutely no strong feelings on this whatsoever. I mean, she got tickets to Murder Bowl. Can't see why she would complain after that. Anyway though, so, with that mission done, we've had a few mission sets unlocked for a little while. After Return to Steelport. That is basically just a set of activities, but specifically for our new characters. And we're going to be doing the first of those. But of course, before we even get to that, we've gotta kill some people. Right, so, first off, you. I had to upgrade my car, so I'm gonna crush you with it. I forget what your deal was already. Did you think my car was stupid or something? You probably did. Oh well, he's tomato paste now, so who cares? His opinion means nothing, because he's now a goo. Okay, let's see. Oh right, this one. Right, so we have to fuck up our own place, but in fairness, I haven't bought it yet, so really, it's just themed after the Saints, it's not actually mine. So we'll just, blow it up a little bit.
I'm just a pretty face.
Oh dear. Blow it up, not blow myself up, thank you very much. And eventually we'll have a new target. Also, since we don't own this place, there's absolutely no confusion as to whether or not the enemy should be fighting me. They do very much want to kill me, even if I am in here. Alright, so yeah, at this point I'm just like, where do I go? Right here? Okay. And apparently, this particular assassination target is a specialist, so... Yeah, I know this isn't gonna protect me from anybody, but I do need to not be in the middle of a hail of bullets. That would help a lot. Okay, there we go. Right, so, eventually we'll buy this planet Saints, and at that point it'll be water under the bridge. Until then, we might want to steer clear of actually purchasing things in this building. I don't think they like us. We did kinda torch this place, but in fairness, if they are themed after the Saints, they should expect this sort of thing. Alright, so, target number 3. Alright. Oh, fuck this one. Right, so if you know what cars are muscle cars off the top of your head, good on you. You can just bring one to this gas station the game tells you about. If you don't know cars super well, you just kinda have to look up things on the internet. And then just sort of wander around looking for something that works for a bit. Eventually, after cycling through a bunch of different types of vehicles, you'll find the thing that counts as a muscle car. And then once you come to this gas station, this guy will appear. God, I took so long doing this one. So many minutes of my time wasted, and I'm gonna kill you with this one too. It's a pretty muscular car, right? That's what that means, right? This car is jacked. It's got so many large muscles, it's really kind of disturbing on a car. And will you just die already? Like, I know I didn't paste you into the wall like the other guy, but I should have squished out most of your internal stuff. Organs, bones, the works. Alright, and if I remember correctly... Oh god, we're on... Yeah, no, we're on the other side of boats. I mean, there are planes as well, but... Ugh, fuck this one. I hate this one so much, so... Right, from the word go, the boat it summons is in a restricted zone. So, before you even enter the vehicle, you have the army on your ass. So that's great, love that. I'm sure somebody will get the Saints-mobile out of there. Right, and so now I just have to get into the boat. Good news, the boat does have weapons. The bad news, it's really fucking hard getting this boat to the end regardless. Yeah, Commander, that's what it's called. So yeah, priority, anything with big guns. So, helicopters, get rid of. That fucker, get rid of. I believe that's also a Commander. I didn't see that near the bay. I didn't see that in the water when I was stealing this one. I think you just spawned that in from nowhere. Smaller boats you don't really need to pay as much attention to, but also don't ignore them, or you'll probably die. So yeah, this is one of those cases where you really need cruise control, because if you don't use cruise control, it's hard to pay enough attention to the things coming up behind you without dying. If you ignore the boats behind you, you will die. However, if you focus exclusively on destroying the boats without setting cruise control on and moving, you're gonna take so long that you're probably gonna die anyway. So yeah, this is pretty much your best option, is just find the best straightaways, turn around, shoot things to death. And yeah, like I said last time, make sure to pay attention to the map, because the game will mislead you. It will tell you lies. It will forget where it actually wants you to go. So just pay attention, look at the map. Pay attention to the mini-map as well, just in case it changes. You'll want to know when it changes so you don't get misled later. So yeah, simple mission, right? All you gotta do is pay attention to fucking everything in your vicinity. So yeah, thankfully, I believe this is the worst of the boat missions, and the next two are aircraft missions, and let me tell you, those are so much better. Also, I'm not on the road. Why are you telling me to take the boat on the goddamn highway? You do not know what you're doing. Please stop pretending like you do. I will say, even though this doesn't have the same targeting system that some of the aircraft do, hitting with missiles isn't actually that difficult. You should be able to do it fairly well. Also, I was so worried I'd missed there, which could have killed me. I might have died if I'd missed and had to turn around. For some reason, the boats control like boats. I don't get it. Okay, yes, I'm correct. The last two are planes. Well, no, they're not planes, they're aircraft. This one's clearly a helicopter, which is very different from an airplane. They're not the same thing. Can't use those words interchangeably. Alright, so anyway, let's get some sweet air off these sun panels. Ow, yep. And right, I believe this is another one that is set. So you do need to come over specifically here. And thankfully, the guards around these things are never that bad. It's not like the previous watercraft that was just surrounded by the goddamn army. I'm not Gordon Freeman, I can't take out the entire US military, I'm sorry. And yeah, as long as you're careful and don't stay too low to the ground, it should be pretty easy for you to get out of here unscathed. Like, pretty much the only thing you need to worry about is being too low, but like, you're in a helicopter, and there's no time limit, just go up. Just continue going up. Like, see, I think I was still getting hit there. I think I saw some bullets. So yeah, even at that altitude, they were still firing at me. But at this point, if there's still that helicopter that's pursuing me, it's not a problem at all. And yeah, just don't go down too soon, because you might get shot kinda early. You might spawn in things that want to kill you ASAP. But as long as you recognize the area you're supposed to descend, this is no problem at all. And I did remember from last time that there is a crane there, and I should not crash into the crane. At this point, it's not a big deal, but it's still kind of embarrassing when you're just trying to go down for a landing and you fuck up right in front of the guy who you're selling this to. Anyway, yeah, I guess the helicopters did eventually catch up, but, I went up high, so it didn't catch up to me. They had no chance. Right, so, the last thing we need to get is actually a plane this time. I kept incorrectly calling helicopters planes, but this one is legitimately an actual airplane. Which, since it is a different kind of vehicle, does control completely differently. Which I find noteworthy because, of course, I don't think I ever used an airplane in Saints Row 2? And I rarely use them in this game either, how dare you. Nonetheless, I will say, it does actually control pretty well. Like, of course, you can probably guess the difference between them is helicopters, you just go straight up, you just hold the button to go up, because that's a helicopter, it does that. In planes, you actually need to get a start before it will actually start flying. You do need at least a decent runway before leaving. Preferably an actual runway and not something makeshift, but, you know. You are the boss. If you need to make do with just kind of using a regular road, you can do it. It's fine. You do stupid shit all the time, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, you do actually have to accelerate, get off the ground, and of course, you do have to go in for a landing. And I gotta say, controls for this are super intuitive and actually kind of fun. I guess I should be using airplanes more often, at least over helicopters, because I don't know. I'm just gonna take the fact that I didn't crash this time to mean that I'm actually decent with these and maybe want to use them more. Otherwise, though, the spirit is the same as the others, the other aircraft we've been using. Go up high, stay up high, though of course you do have to mind your distance a lot sooner than you did for the helicopters. But again, I didn't die in this one. I managed to not crash at any points. I don't know if this is a perfect landing, but if I got it my first try, I think that says good things about how this handles. And they didn't make it as annoying to do as the fucking boat missions, so... Yeah, no, half of these are okay to actually pretty fun. The other half of Riggs' requests, however, suck ass and I hate them. And I'm glad I'm done with them and never have to do them ever again. But unfortunately, there are still vehicle missions after this, and wouldn't you believe it, they still suck. But we're not doing those today. We've done 3 assassinations, we've done 3 vehicle thefts. Now it's time to buy up the town. Right, so, we have taken over Morningstar territory before, though I'd argue the center of Steelport is kind of more Syndicate territory overall. It is represented by Morningstar, but, you know, that is where Syndicate Tower was at the time. We've taken it over since then. And if we hadn't taken it over, it would have exploded, so either which way, the Syndicate doesn't have it by this point, so... Yeah, it's not really Syndicate territory, but I would argue that, yeah, it was. You know, the penthouse was the Morningstar penthouse completely, it was always called that, but I feel like they probably also invited other gangs to that area as well. But I bring all this up because we're still going for Morningstar territory, but this time we're on the east end of town. Which of course means this is also kind of just the, Zimos area, dedicated Zimos zone.
I'd rather be
Which, of course, every single area has its representative,
Oh yeah, you think you're tough, huh?
I do.
Calling you out. Meet him at the spot and we'll see who walks away, huh?
Okay, well, I'm busy, so just don't despawn and I'll get to you. Please despawn, please despawn, please despawn. It does despawn, I didn't bother with it this time. But yeah, anyway. Each zone of Steelport basically belongs to, or is represented by, one of the factions of the enemy gang, and also one of our factions as well, so Central area is kind of just the disputed area between the Syndicate in its entirety and the Saints. That is where the Saints HQ is now, which is, you know, more or less the penthouse. We do have the Morningstar HQ, but yeah, they didn't manage to make it an actual crib, so it's not a base of operations we actively use, we just get money from it. But regardless, the center of Steelport, yeah, that's Saints territory, which makes sense. It is the literal center of Steelport, so it makes sense that kind of the main gangs are holed up in that area. Meanwhile, Morningstar also has kind of the suburby area in this side of town. But that is also represented by Zimos, who is a pimp, but, you know, he is a pimp who cares a lot about his people, as we'll see eventually. He takes good care of his employees, and probably doesn't subject any of them to the same things he went through, that the De Winter Sisters did. But yeah, I do think it's interesting then that he kind of gets these suburb areas, so kind of the most, I guess, down-to-earth, lived-in areas. You know, it's a little bit run down, but in fairness, most of Steelport kind of is. It's a mess of a city, so none of it's sparkly clean, but look, if you play Saints Row, that's still water as well. Doesn't matter how much Ultor tried to glitz it up, it still had its portions that were run down. I mean, maybe they would have eventually gentrified the whole place, but, we kinda shot the guy in charge of them, before they could do that, so now nobody gets to see how that would turn out.
Not my problem.
I will say, though, this is also probably the largest portion of the city. The western end of the city is held both by the Deckers and the Luchadors. Deckers own the northwest, the Luchadors own the southwest, so yeah, they have a little less overall territory than Morningstar does. Even if you ignore the middle section and do just assume that, you know, that's more of the combined territory, which makes sense, it was in the center, so I think they would kind of have to share that zone. Yeah, even ignoring all of that, Morningstar kind of has the most territory. Alright, and we're getting explosive ammo, very nice. These do eventually get pretty pricey, though. Surprisingly enough, explosives... Okay, there we go, that's the expensive one. Also, explosives and grenades are different, so you do have to buy different ones there, and Jesus. Yeah, so I don't want to run myself out of money, but we're also at the point where I'm earning a lot of money, so I can splurge a little bit on some weapons here and there. Yeah, now just about everything has a bit more ammo. Also, faster reloads is very good, especially since I like the shotgun so much. I do kind of favor the thing that takes forever to reload. It's kind of on me, but look. I like the shotguns, I like the rifles, that's just my thing. I can't help what I'm drawn to. And melee weapons, but those don't need reloads. Yeah, so, the Gravedigger does also get kind of ludicrous in its design as you go. I do kind of like the slightly more old-fashioned look of the Gravedigger, but also, upgrading it does make it look real fucking stupid. Here's just so many barrels. A ludicrous number of barrels.
Zimos, I was...
Think this can wait, I'm in the middle of something.
Is it
You
fucking?
want me to swing by instead?
Yeah, sure, and seriously, no hurry.
It's easy.
Bye. Now where was I? Oh, yeah.
Okay, I do kind of appreciate the oh yeah thrown in the end there. Subtitles didn't pick it up, but, you know, it is definitely present. I will say, though, for the most part, I'm not the biggest fan of Zimos' whole thing being that he auto-tunes himself constantly. Like, look, I get it, you know? He does have a hole in his throat, clearly. You know, maybe he's a bit self-conscious about that, but the designers could have just, you know, not had him auto-tune everything. I don't think it's that funny in the first place, and it kind of makes most of his conversations more grating than they need to be, but I will say I still like him more than Angel.
Hey, Zimos.
Wow, they fell
You
asleep
don't
quickly.
waste time.
Well, if you went on a ball gag with a horse tail up your ass for a few years, I think you'd want to unwind too.
Fair enough.
I'm guessing you ain't come here for the pussy.
No, I know this is a place for pleasure, but
The
we're
Saints are
doing
gonna stay in
business.
Steelport. We need the Morning Star out of here. I already work downtown, but these motherfuckers are everywhere.
Oh, I'm here to help, baby. I know every track the Morning Star are working. We can build up our stable and hurt the DeWinter sisters at the same time.
Sounds good.
I got my people out watching the corners, letting me know where the bitches are.
I'll start dropping the girls off. You have everything ready?
Sure do. You just bring them on by after you grab them.
Alright, so yeah, this is Snatch. If you've played Saints Row 1 and 2, it works exactly like those do. You ride around, when you approach the hose, you just do your usual, homie call, and they'll go to you. I say usual, I never do that, so really this is an unusual activity for me, actually calling people to my side. But yeah, like always, you're gonna want a large car. Motorcycles are terrible for this, of course, because the hose kind of have to ride with you.
Remember this one.
And so if you don't have space in a vehicle, you're walking, and no, that's not gonna get you anywhere. So yeah, make sure to have something with 3 extra seats, a 4-seater is what they usually call those.
This is Big Kish, and that was Can't Stop Now by Southpaw Swagger.
Hey, Kish. I'm hoping you can help me out. My man just left me, and every time I look in the mirror, I think, well, would he have stayed if I was different? If I was a brunette, or if I had blue eyes?
Oh, see, sis, that ain't a healthy way to think, okay?
It's too late. I already dyed my hair.
Ooh, see, now you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, and I got colored contacts, too, and I even had some of my tattoos removed.
All right, listen close. I'ma play you Mirrors by Wale featuring Bun B, and promise me you gonna listen to the lyrics, okay?
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Okay, so since the minigame works as it normally does, I would like to mention, Big Kish is actually returning from Saints Row 2. He was also the K-Rhyme announcer in that game as well. I think he was even the K-Rhyme DJ for Saints Row 1 as well? And I believe he's actually voiced by the same person every game. Saints Row 4 actually lists him as being voiced by Andrew Kishino. It's the only one that does have a credit for him, though. I couldn't find him listed, goddammit, in the first 3 games, but I think it's the same guy every time. I want to say he had the same voice as he did in 2. He sounds pretty much the same. So I think they managed to get a consistent person for every game, which is pretty cool. I did like Kish in the previous game. I just liked his attitude. He seems, pretty nice and upbeat. Doesn't have my favorite lines or anything, but, the attitude's nice. But, yeah. Just figured I'd mention that, because, again, this is how Snatch has worked in the other games. It's simple, and it's to the point. We haven't covered any of them yet, but now we'll get a bunch more, if I remember correctly. I think part of the reason we do these missions is to unlock more instances of them. Yeah, we unlock more of those. Alright, so what do you got for me next, Zimos?
Hey, baby, maybe you can help me out.
Baby?
Do you want to get back on the horse, buddy?
Going, you know, getting the word out.
I'm not out standing on a corner flicking cards, if that's what you're thinking.
I got people to do that for you. Just need help delivering the advertisements too long.
I mean, I guess...
Good, meet me and we can roll these out.
Alright, so this is, of course, just gonna... Oh! Watch where I'm going, how dare you. But yeah, this is gonna be a, Sorry, I got distracted by flying up into the air.
What's the setup?
Trafficking, God. Thank you, game, for remembering what the terminology is.
For a profit.
You're printing catalogs of your girls? That's a new one for me.
Hell yeah. Who gets a hard on from looking at just the phone number?
That's really smart, actually. So, do these people work on a commission?
No, baby. Just contract workers who want to turn a buck.
I don't imagine the Morning Star will be happy about this.
And that's why we're here.
Competition, especially from Zimos.
So you're expecting armed goons, lots of violence and all that?
About right, yeah.
I am going to love this. Nobody will notice.
Yeah, so Zimos is a pretty good businessman. Right, so, the 3 missions, or, well, really 3 mission sets you unlock after Return to Steelport, all feature the new characters. So we've got Zimos here, we've also got Kinsey missions, and Angel missions as well. So, you can do them anytime, though they are eventually necessary. I think this must also be how the Pierce missions worked way back when, but it's a lot harder to notice there. But yeah, technically these are the things that unlock points in the story.
Don't worry about me. This ain't my first rodeo.
Eyes on the road.
Surprised to use the word rodeo there. But yeah, no, these are eventually necessary to complete, though Zimos is the only one we have to complete right now. We can't continue on with the main story until we do this one. Kinsey and Angel are optional for the time being.
Who's the realest of them all? Well, that just might be the talented Wale. You listen to K-Rhyme 95.4.
I sure was. And now I'm going to shoot people. But yeah, I could do the Kinsey and Angel missions later, since they're optional for now. They don't unlock anything specific until later in the game when we're, you know, dealing more with the Deckers and the Luchadors. We're dealing with Morningstar now, though, so that's why we have to do Zimos now. That it is the first gate of the 3 of them.
How's the stockpile holding up?
Shit's running low. Gonna have to get my bitches a triple after this next drop. They gotta get some more.
So yeah, as much as I'd like to say I'm going from my least favorite to favorite, I'm really just going to start with Zimos and then go to Kinsey, which means I'm saving my least favorite for last. Though, I will say, sorry to spoil this, Zimos doesn't actually suck in this mission. When I played this game for the first time, I don't know if it was this one in particular or one of the other, like, optional diversions around town, or the activities around town, rather. But Zimos was driving like absolute shit. I distinctly remember him kind of just flying through the air and just crashing and overturning the car, and I was just kind of screwed at that point. So yeah, because of that, he wasn't really my favorite. And again, I don't find the whole auto-tune thing that funny. So the fact that he does that is just a gimmick I don't care for, which does definitely diminish the character a bit for me.
Catch me after I get some more of these ready.
Looking forward to it.
But I will give Zimos this. At least he has a character. Like, 2 of the 3 people we've seen so far have at least had something interesting about them. Angel's just really boring. Alright, so we're done with this iteration of trafficking. But of course, there are more out there in the field for us to do, but that comes later. I didn't do any extra activities in this episode, any of the optional ones, since it is just an entire video of those missions.
You got good timing. My girls need a driver.
What do I look like to you?
Someone who can keep them safe while they turn tricks and make us money.
And all I gotta do is drive them?
That's right. How hard can that be?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, we've done that before, but as long as they don't ask me to power slide, I should be fine. Because I'm gonna level with you, I've forgotten how to power slide in Saints Row 2, and I have not done it in this game either.
This is K-Rhyme, and you just heard my man, Sean Price, a member of the Boot Camp Clique and Helter Skelter.
I mean, does he actually know you?
Parlez-vous
Can he really be your
Well,
man?
You better, motherfucker, because these guys want to make me learn the language.
Right, so, this works pretty much exactly like it did in Saints Row 2. There are news vans everywhere, and they're gonna try to catch footage of you, so you need to drive away from them. And just like in Saints Row 2, sometimes the passengers will just ask you to do things to fulfill their depraved desires.
Here's that.
Yeah, these guys want me to do vehicle damage.
Never been on top before. Couldn't last any longer than that.
Look, I just can't get into the mood unless you've totaled the car. I'm sorry. That motorcycle... Well, you've done enough points, so that didn't do anything for me, but you know. If I had a higher point value you needed to reach, oh buddy, that'd have really gotten me excited. So yeah, it's pretty much just go around town and do tasks, because when the tasks come up, you don't actually get any more pleasure, so... Obviously this is a boost to that meter, but also you don't earn anything in the meantime, so... it kind of evens out in a way. I wish it were just bonus things that you can do. Especially since stuff like that often happens, where they just decide, hey, kill that guy you're already passing, and I'm just like, cool. I didn't do that, and now I have to turn around and get caught. Are you sure you're not a voyeur? Also, this is me not realizing that I can't actually switch to weapons. I still have access to grenades, but for some reason I can't pull a gun out, which does make killing that guy a lot more difficult. So, yeah. Goodbye. I had to kill you. Somebody got really horny for it. I don't understand it either, I'm just driving. And facilitating this, I guess.
I'm all tingly. I can't wait to get back in your car. You certainly get my approval.
I don't think it counts as toxic Yuri if somebody else dies in the middle of it, right? And I mean, neither of them actually killed anybody, it was all me, so I don't think it counts. I think that was just murder. Oh boy, more escort. Oh, but the good news is we did unlock Zimos as a homie, so... Much like with the Pierce missions, once you see that message, you know you're done, so... Well, first off, let's get cash. Very nice. And then let's go for the final Zimos mission.
Now that you're back in business, we can focus on the Morning Star.
Oh, you need to slow down, baby.
Are you fucking again?
Come to the palace of Zimos. I got something here to show you.
What for?
I've been helping you out right. Humor me.
Fine.
But I don't think you're funny. Alright, so... Onward. Thought it would cut sooner than that. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't cut that out in raw video. Like, there's nothing particularly interesting about the drive. Like, this is, again, like the Pierce mission, this is just a cutscene that tells you, hey, you completed that mission set.
That is one ugly fucking painting.
You fucking Philistine. What you know about art?
That this sucks. It's derivative, and the subject matter is just bad.
Seeing as how we
Well,
just let
I
them
guess
know
it
we're
could have been
taking over
Angel,
their
though.
business, I doubt that
I
deal's
guess
gonna
that's the
hold.
one way you could have made it worse.
Remember the pony show? I've been off that Christmas list a long time. Anyway, I didn't call you over to talk about me. You killed Philippe Loren and showed the Morning Star that you are here to stay. Time to relax and cut loose, baby.
We'll party once the work's done. I'll call you when I make another move against the Morning Star.
which is gonna be a little bit because, like I said, we're done here for this episode of Saints Row the Third. Next time, we'll see what kind of missions that Kinsey puts us up to. As soon as I figure out how to leave this house.
Dis-leur donc panique, musulmane de ton voile, dis-leur donc panique, banlieusard de ta ville, dis-leur donc panique, mon slogan, ma devise, c'est le don de panique, prolétaire de ta classe, dis-leur donc panique, africain de ta peau, dis-leur donc panique, musulman de ta foi, dis-leur donc panique, mon slogan, ma devise, c'est le don de panique. Le monde est plein d'entêtements, les entêtes de la presse font des têtes